Yes, good morning, guys, and mine happened to our friends in the Philippines. Up on the screen, guys, the lump of lard, the arrogant brain surgeon from the hovel, Bosshog. So, Mr. I'm so clever, I'm so arrogant, decided to post a video today eating Maricel's cooking. And, well, only he could survive in anything from that kitchen. But that's not why we are making this video. The Mr. Arrogant wannabe farmer made this video with his YouTube page open to show off the following. And firstly, probably to show off to Mr. Mead that his channel is getting the same views as normal. Two, showing how much his channel has earned in the last 30 days. But we are not interested in why this arrogant fool posted that video. If he wants to be a creep and post his earnings to show off to Mr. Mead or the entire world, that's up to him. What we want to talk about is Brian's earnings of $1,400 a month. And from what we can see, it only confirms what we have been saying for a long time, Brian, that this fat, lazy foreigner earns enough money from his channel to sustain himself and his family and, more importantly, his firstborn son. Brian, your arrogance totally showed everyone that you're not the poor guy you make out yourself to be. That you're, let's say, no budget bullshit. No budget constantly is total bullshit. If you're making 75,000 pesos a month, you can easily pay your way in life on that farm. So, Brian, why have you been saying you don't have a budget to buy a generator when clearly you have? Did you say that the sole purpose that you know if you say that, some fool will buy you a new one? I mean, it's a tried and tested scam that you have done over and over again, isn't it, Brian? So, Brian, why was you saying you needed an air pump to keep your fish alive? But again, no budget to buy one. We even made a video about it, saying that if you were really in such a need of a pump and you're standing to lose a small fortune, if all your fish die, then the cost of buying a pump isn't a lot in the grand scheme of things, is it? So in reality, there is no emergency for an air pump. It was just a ploy to make your subscribers think you needed something quickly, and the result would, of course, be all of your fish would be dead if you didn't get a pump ASAP. Are you getting me, Brian? And it's an interesting tactic that any salesperson uses. The salesperson would create a deal or an offer and then puts a timeline or a time frame on it to make the buyer think fast and jump in before changing their minds. That's what you do all the time, Brian, isn't it? You give the subscribers the idea of what you need, even to the point of actually going to the store and showing the price of what you want, and then make some excuse as to why you need it fast, creating an urgency. One word comes to mind, Brian: con man. You are a con man. Just like you did with the tilapia, Brian. You created the drama of the fish being stolen, and this case, it's the emergency. Then you hit the channel with, I need to build a Tatai and Gina a house for security. And in this case, creating the solution of your emergency. Tilapia are being stolen, so I need a caretaker house. So let's build a house for Tatai and Gina. Tatai will be the security. Then you hit the channel with, this is what it's going to cost to build Tatai and Gina's house. Pushing the offer. Or in this case, the scam. It's very clever when you think about it, but it only works with people with short-term memories and little to no attention span. Let's show another example, shall we, of how you, Brian Smith, creates the scam. You were in the garden the other day saying you would have to get up early, hit the ground running and start some digging, because it's a nightmare digging the soil in the heat. And it would be easier if you had a rototiller. Yes, creating the offer, if you like, or creating the solution. A rototiller would make the job that much easier. And now that the seed is in the people's minds from watching that video, poor Brian needs a rototiller. And now today you post a video in the garden complaining about arthritis in your hand. Thus, you're creating the emergency. Very clever, Brian. Very clever indeed. But we are even smarter than you and can see through all of your bullshit. So here is another scam, Brian, that you have been doing for so long now. It's on his wish list. I have no budget. One day I can afford one, maybe. Something you do frequently, every week. But Brian, you never seem to let people know that you do have the budget. And you know why you have the budget? It's called money management. Living below your income so you can save a little bit every month. If you did that, you could afford to buy a generator, air pumps, fish food, and pay Blake's allowance and buy a rototiller. But I guess a scammer doesn't need to do that when you can use your subtle, hints here and there to get what you want. Strange though, Brian, just last week you said about getting the shrimp tanks finished even if you had to cut down on smoking. Yes, you said that. Then today you're boasting on how much you make every month. Only a narcissist would go and brag how much they earn while still pretending that he's poor and uses the feel sorry for me vibes. Just like the stories we see on TV about the homeless people who own huge houses and sports cars. The homeless act is just an act to get generous, kind-hearted people to give up their cash. And it wasn't long ago that you said your earnings were down because of the trolls, and you had to cut down the allowance that you were sending to your firstborn son, Blake. Do you remember that, Brian? Because we do. And it wasn't long ago that you were taking donations from your subscribers for your roof. Do you remember that, Brian? Because we do. You failed to mention you already had the 100k, the 100,000 pesos you needed, and you also failed to mention the $1,500 a month you earn tax-free on YouTube. And so guys, as a summing up of this video, the video that Bosshog posted quite clearly shows what his earnings are per month. Yet, he's still out there telling his supporters and his followers that he has no budget. That someday I might be able to afford to buy this, I might be able to afford to buy that. This is a con man. This is a scammer. This is a scammer of the highest order. And the sooner people wake up and realise that this man is not poor at all, that this man does not need donations, that this man does not need gifts sent to him, the better. Quite clearly, the fool from the Bohovel, the parasite from the Bohovel, shot himself in the foot again by sitting there pigging himself on Maricel's food, thinking I'd show my YouTube channel page open and have a dig at some of the dimwits. Well, the only dimwit, Brian, is yourself, because you've proved what we have been saying for a long time, that you do have a budget. And guys, till the next time, bye for now.